Recap: Tales of Herding Gods, Chapter 4 and 83. Chapter translator: Ninetales. Editor: Dark Gem. That cannot be. Shaman God Kui's voice carried a chilling disbelief as he gazed at Xing-An, who had risen once more like a corpse refusing the call of the netherworld. I had clearly performed the rite and worshipped your soul into annihilation. How do you still stand among the living? His eyes narrowed as suspicion deepened. Could it be that your name is not truly Xing-An? No, that cannot be either. Your soul had unmistakably shattered beneath my ritual. Once the soul disperses, life cannot persist. By what forbidden method did you recall your scattered soul and bind it anew? Your divine arts are truly unfathomable. Like a circling vulture contemplating prey, he paced around Xing-An, his thoughts churning like storm clouds. Moments ago, I sensed your soul crumble into nothingness. And yet another presence emerged from within your chest, slipping into your lifeless shell and restoring it. Yet this defies all reason. If your soul perished, then even if another entered your body, it would no longer be you. How then did you preserve your consciousness? Xing-An rose slowly, his gaze strange and piercing as though it could dissect the heavens themselves. Without a word, he began to move as well. Shaman God Kui circled him in widening arcs, while Xing-An answered with his own measured steps. One circle large, one circle small, like twin celestial bodies locked in silent orbit, their unseen forces clashing in the void. Shu Shenghua's eyes flickered as he turned toward Chen Mu, memory stirring like an old wound. He recalled the day of his defeat. Back then, Chen Mu had wielded no obvious strike, only the invisible currents of qi to guide, the suffocating weight of aura to suppress, and the subtle shifts of bodily motion to exhaust. That battle had ended before it had even begun. Shu Shenghua had coughed blood and collapsed without exchanging a single move. And afterward, it was that very Chen Mu who had healed him, leaving him buried under a mountain of debt, forcing him onto the path of forging to repay what he owed. Now, the method displayed by Shaman God Kui and Xing-An bore resemblance to Chen Mu's technique, yet it soared far beyond it, as though the Tao itself had deepened its mysteries. Xing-An's eyes gleamed with admiration as he studied his opponent. Marvelous, truly marvelous, Shaman God Kui. You are a masterpiece sculpted by the heavens themselves. Among all the primordial spirits I have gathered over the years, none can compare to you. You shall become the crowning jewel of my collection. Collect me. By now, both figures had risen into the heavens, their presence pressing upon the air itself. Shaman God Kui let out a cold laugh, his voice echoing like thunder over a blood-soaked battlefield. Do you take me for some clay idol to be seized and displayed at will? My magic power surges like an endless tide, my might unmatched beneath heaven and earth. I am no false deity of those counterfeit celestial heavens. I am a god of the true celestial firmament. His aura surged, recalling an age of slaughter. I have torn apart the old dynasty of the false heavens and crushed countless mighty beings. Wherever I tread, corpses pave my path, and seas of blood stretch beyond sight. And you are nothing more than a petty cultivator wielding a strange art, strutting through the world like a charlatan deceiving the masses. His eyes sharpened like blades. Yet I have seen through your trick. What emerged from your chest earlier were merely your 7 spirits, not your 3 souls. Your true souls remain intact, while those 7 spirits were stolen from others. Chen Mu's expression shifted subtly. So Xing-An's foundation lies within his 3 souls. He has refined them to a godly state. In that case, they are not concealed within his chest. Xing-An's expression flickered for a fleeting moment, yet he soon broke into a smile filled with delight. How splendid, Shaman God Kui! With every word you deepen my admiration. And as for your earlier ritual, when you sought to worship me into death, I too discerned its hidden mystery. Your so-called soul-worshipping shaman spell does not destroy the soul. It merely severs the 7 spirits. He spoke with calm clarity, as though unveiling the truth of the cosmos. Those who are worshipped to death still retain their souls. They are simply bound and dominated by your force. Otherwise, why would so many damned souls cling to your form? Your shaman spell is nothing more than an extraordinarily potent, soul-based divine art. Little Rulai's body trembled faintly, realization dawning like the first light of dawn. So that is how it is. Around him, the demon monks tightened their guard, suppressing their unstable souls and spirits. Upon hearing Xing'an's words, enlightenment struck them like a bell tolling through the void. The Buddhist path differed from all others. With Buddha eyes, they could perceive the wandering damned souls, and long ago, they had seen the countless spirits clinging to Shaman God Kai. Because of this, they believed that enlightening him would yield immeasurable merit, enough to open the 20 heavens of the Buddha realm and ascend as Buddhas. The mere knowledge of a name allowed Shaman God Kui to scatter the opponent's spirits. His shaman spell was terrifying beyond measure, yet they had never connected the restless souls surrounding him to that very art. Qin-Mu's thoughts churned violently. Xing'an was truly terrifying. Shaman God Kui had used his divine art twice before him. The first time, Pan Gong-so had attempted the ritual and failed to kill Xing'an. The second time, the very moment just now, had seemingly slain him outright. And yet, after witnessing it only twice, Xing'an had already pierced through his deepest secret. Such comprehension, such terrifying aptitude. His understanding rivals that of Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor. Yet what a waste. All his effort is spent on hunting God-level experts, harvesting their bodies like trophies. If he had devoted himself wholly to cultivation, perhaps he would have perished of old age. The divine bridge remains broken. Wait. Qin-Mu's body trembled, disbelief flashing across his eyes. Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor, an unparalleled existence whose comprehension and talent stood above all Qin-Mu had ever known. His boldness shook the world even before the reforms, earning him the title of a saint who appears once every 500 years, bestowed by old Rulai and old Tao master alike. But such a title must have belonged to someone before him. Could it be? Qin-Mu's expression turned strange. Xing'an's talent stood on equal footing with the imperial preceptor. Then did that not mean the saint of 500 years during village chief's era was Xing'an? That is entirely possible. After all, the imperial preceptor also harbors an obsession with collecting others' body parts. Qin-Mu clenched his fists. Had not the imperial preceptor once taken Cripple's leg? Above Mount Meru, the heavens suddenly split with thunderous force as Shaman God Kui and Xing'an clashed. Divine arts tore through the sky like rending claws, shredding the firmament. Though Shaman God Kui could no longer worship Xing'an to death, he remained a god's primordial spirit, his cultivation vast, his techniques terrifying. His arts were dominated by soul-based divine abilities, interwoven with formidable spells. Each incantation struck with world-shaking might, tearing open the surrounding darkness and revealing grotesque, twisted faces hidden within. Even without a corporeal body, his spell arts had reached such heights that his combat power far surpassed that of little Rulay. Yet, none of his attacks could even graze Xing'an. That man's speed was beyond reason. He moved like flickering starlight, like shadows that vanished before one could grasp them, his speed rivaling that of Cripple himself. Against such swiftness, even divine arts could not give chase. Cripple's speed was unrivaled beneath the heavens. When he unleashed it fully, none could catch him. Yet even he had failed twice in his life. Once, when Eternal Peace Imperial Preceptor discovered him stealing the Emperor's disc, severing his leg before he could unleash his full speed, and once, when he encountered Xing'an. Though Cripple was swift beyond imagination, his cultivation could not match Xing'an's depth. He had been pursued for days until his strength ran dry, and in the end, both his legs were severed. Against such speed, Shaman God Kui had no means of striking him. Boom! A thunderous impact resounded as Xing'an's palm finally struck. Shaman God Kui's body shuddered violently. His spirit embryo nearly blasted free from his primordial spirit. For the first time, panic surfaced upon his face. Another deafening strike followed. True fire erupted from his 7 orifices, eyes, nose, mouth, and ears, as the separation between his spirit embryo and soul grew even more unstable. Bang, bang, bang. A relentless barrage echoed through the heavens. The spirit embryo within Shaman God Kui's primordial spirit swayed wildly, illusions distorting his features into chaos and fear. He had no power to retaliate. Even the imperial preceptor, that madman, might not stand against Xing'an as he is now. Qin-Mu's heart trembled as his gaze shifted toward Xing'an's chest, resting on the ground below. He had abandoned it. Beside the chest, Pan Gong-so lay curled, his head withdrawn, clutching a severed leg tightly. Finished. My master is finished. He cannot contend with that lunatic Xing'an. I had hoped to seize some advantage, but now there is nothing to gain. He hastily drew out his touty sack and stuffed the leg inside. That cunning devil will surely force me to reattach this leg. If Cult Master Qin poisoned it, I am doomed. And even if it is safe, Xing'an would cut it off again. Better to escape while I still can. But the darkness outside, I cannot leave. Just then, his gaze fell upon Qin Mu, who held a bead the size of a fist. His lips moved silently as he formed incantations. Xing'an was too absorbed in battle to notice. Black tortoise bead. Pan Gong Sou's eyes widened in shock. He recognized it at once. The sacred treasure of True Heaven Palace. Even in his past life as Grandmaster, he had only glimpsed it from afar. This wretch! His fortune defies heaven. To think he stole such a treasure amidst chaos. Qin Mu's left hand shifted through intricate gestures, illusions weaving across the sky before condensing into a sword technique that lightly tapped the bead. A move from the 10,000 spirit nature technique. Pan Gong Sou's heart jolted. The chest beside him trembled. A chill crept down his spine as the bottom of the chest shifted. Once, twice. Then suddenly, a leg burst forth. Pan Gong Sou nearly cried out as more legs sprouted, lifting the chest upright like a living beast. Before he could react, Qin Mu leapt onto it. The chest dashed down the mountain. Midway, the dragon Qilin shrank his body and sprang aboard. Settling himself comfortably, Pan Gong Sou stood frozen. Turning, he saw Shu Shenghua holding Jing Yan's hand, calmly waving toward Qin Mu. Schemer! He dares steal Xing'an's chest! He nearly shouted a warning, but hesitation seized him. Instead, he dropped to his hands and sprinted after them. The chest raced with astonishing speed. As it neared the engulfing darkness, Pan Gong Sou leapt and seized its underside, clinging desperately as it plunged into the void. The divine body parts within forced the darkness back, allowing the chest's forelegs to carry it swiftly through the abyss. So it is, Grandmaster. Qin Mu glanced back, smiling as he saw Pan Gong Sou dangling beneath. Drawing his sword, he struck. Pan Gong Sou hastily raised the severed leg to block. Clang! Cult Master Qin, cease, he shouted urgently. Strike again, and I will scream. Let us see how you escape then. Qin Mu sheathed his sword, his smile warm and harmless. Grandmaster jests. We are old friends. How could I harm you? You are about to eat dirt beneath the chest. Allow me to pull you up. He secretly nudged the dragon Qilin. Understanding at once, the beast gathered true fire within his maw, preparing to blast Pan Gong Sou into the surrounding darkness once he was lifted, where the void itself would devour him. But Pan Gong Sou shrank back further, settling comfortably beneath the chest. Much obliged, Cult Master, but I quite enjoy eating dirt. I shall remain here. At that very moment, Xing'an's furious voice thundered from the skies above Little Mount Meru. Great divine physician Qin, let me see whether your heart is truly black. Black indeed, Pan Gong Sou muttered under the chest. Translator, Ninetales? Editor Dark Gem. Xing'an's voice tore through the heavens, one breath echoing from the summit of Mount Meru, the next reverberating from far below. His figure was already in pursuit. All else, slaying enemies or sparing them, meant nothing to him. But the matter of his chest was another story entirely. The fury in his voice surged like a tempest, barely restrained as he burst into laughter. How dare you! Beneath the chest, Pan Gong Sou muttered in a low voice, his tone tinged with disbelief. That brat's courage truly knows no bounds. You actually dare to collude with the Qin to steal my chest! Grandmaster, how dare you! Xing'an's voice drifted from the left, then the right, shifting unpredictably like a ghost. It was clear he could not locate Qin Mu or the chest within the engulfing darkness, forcing him to dart back and forth in his search. Even so, with his terrifying speed, sweeping across a 1,000-mile radius was but a trivial matter. It was only a question of time before he found them. Do you think I won't kill you? You are too childish! When Xing'an began speaking, his voice resounded from 100 miles to the west. Yet by the time he finished, it had already shifted to 100 miles south. Pan Gong Sou's face turned ashen green as he clenched his teeth. How is this my fault? I never colluded with him to steal your chest. I merely seized the opportunity to escape. Standing atop the chest, Qin Mu's heart trembled with shock. Xing'an actually managed to rid himself of Shaman God Kuai so swiftly? Such power is truly dreadful. Beneath the chest, Pan Gong Sou let out a grunt, murmuring to himself, "My master has truly wasted his years." However, Xing'an won't be able to refine his primordial spirit so easily and add it to his collection. Cult Master Qin, I have a brilliant plan. It could eliminate both my master and Xing'an in one stroke. Qin Mu's voice drifted calmly from above the chest. I understand your intention. You wish to head to Yang Mountain in the southern reaches of the Great Ruins and unseal Shaman God Kui's corporeal body. Xing'an has yet to refine the primordial spirit, and I suspect he separated his spirit, embryo, and soul, suppressing them individually. After all, Shaman God Kui is a god. Once he regains his corporeal body, he may very well break free from Xing'an's suppression. A complete Shaman God Kui would not be weaker than Xing'an. He would surpass him. Am I correct? Pan Gongso nodded vigorously before suddenly realizing Qin Mu could not see him. Cult Master Qin is truly my greatest adversary, he exclaimed in admiration. With an enemy like you, I fear I will have nightmares even in sleep. Cult Master, I believe he is insulting you, the dragon Qilin said. That is quite a generous compliment, Qin Mu replied calmly. However, if Xing'an cannot contend with a complete Shaman God Kui, then the danger to everyone else would be immeasurable, truly a calamity. But if, a trace of worry surfaced in his heart, if Xing'an succeeded in refining Shaman God Kui's primordial spirit and adding it to his collection, the consequences would be equally disastrous. If Xing'an could refine such a spirit, who in this world could stand against him? Of course, Xing'an adhered to his own peculiar principles, those who failed to catch his interest. Those who had not reached a domain comparable to the realm of gods were beneath his notice. Yet given his twisted inclinations, all cultivators who had reached the god realm would likely be revered to death by him. Only for him to calmly sever their divine limbs, such a fate would be nothing short of catastrophe. Its impact on cultivation paths, techniques, and divine arts beyond measure. If these two could perish together, that would be for the best. Qin Mu let out a soft sigh and accepted Pan Gongso's proposal. With a surge of will, he urged the chest to hasten southward. You cannot escape! Xing'an's voice drifted near and far, rising and falling unpredictably. The night within the great ruins was so pitch black that even with his unparalleled abilities, he could not trace their path. Before long, Qin Mu glimpsed the shadow of a heavenly moat looming ahead of the chest. The roaring crash of water echoed from the darkness, and from the sound alone, he could tell that more than one waterfall cascaded there. They had arrived before a perilous cliff. This is that shattered cliff at the source of the surging river. Qin Mu guided the chest to the cliff's edge, allowing them to peer downward. From above, he saw faint light emanating from the cliff face below. Though its origin remained unknown, a flicker stirred within his heart. The last time he had come here, he had brought Xiangxiu and her daughter. Back then, he had witnessed the heavenly moat splitting the great ruins into east and west, the towering cliff stretching thousands of yards into the abyss. This cliff had been born from a cataclysmic earthquake that tore the great ruins apart, forming a colossal fissure that ran from north to south. The source of the surging river lay in the waterfalls cascading from this broken cliff. These torrents gathered into a mighty river that flowed tens of thousands of miles, reaching eternal peace, where it became the fastest river in existence. Moreover, Qin Mu had encountered something even more bizarre. When he and Xiangxiu encountered mist upon the river, they had seen a vast desert and countless gods constructing the palaces of deities. These were gods of the High Emperor era, acting under orders to transform the desert into fertile plains. Later, they saw those same gods carving a canal for the surging river. Yet what was most unsettling was what came after. When they witnessed the burial of the High Emperor era, figures from another era emerged from the mist. It was founding emperor and his ministers, surveying the land as they passed through the strange fog, sighing at the fall of an age. Their experience had overlapped with Qin Mu's own, merging into a surreal vision. At the source of the surging river, echoes of two histories intertwined, forming a spectacle beyond comprehension. At the time, Qin Mu had surmised that this place might harbor entrances to other worlds. He had even glimpsed 5 worlds overlapping in time and space. I wonder, what strange phenomena manifest here once night falls upon the surging river? His heart wavered between unease and anticipation. He directed Xing'an's chest to descend along the cliff face, while Pang Gongtso hurriedly clutched one of the chest's legs, lest he be cast into the abyss. Meanwhile, atop the golden peak of Little Mount Meru at Little Thunderclap Monastery, Little Rulai sat in meditation, his form serene as he rested in the lotus position. The monks encircled him, their faces heavy with grief. The devil ape knelt before him, eyes wide, tears suddenly spilling down his cheeks and striking the ground below. I rebelled and left Great Thunderclap Monastery because my master was unjust, choosing my senior brother as Rulai and not me. If all lives are equal, why can only humans become Rulai and not demons? If Dharma is equal, why must Rulai be male and not female? Soft radiance illuminated Little Rulai's face as a gentle smile formed upon his lips. My cultivation was no weaker than my senior brother's, yet I found no affinity with the Dharma of the human race, and so resentment grew within me. I sought to establish a sacred ground for the demon race. I fought my way out of Great Thunderclap Monastery and founded Little Thunderclap Monastery. Great Thunderclap, Little Thunderclap, both resound like thunder. Though they interpret Dharma differently, they are both Dharma. Shaman God Kai, worship my soul to death. I lack Xing'an's abilities, and now my soul is on the verge of scattering. Zhan Kong, bring me the Kakara. The devil ape knelt, raising the Kakara staff high with both hands. My senior brother imparted Rulai's Mahayana Sutra to you because of this Kakara. Because of him, I accepted you as my disciple. Great Thunderclap Monastery and Little Thunderclap Monastery. Through you, they shall be connected once more. Little Rulai raised his hand, and the Kakara staff floated into the air. You are the junior brother of Rulai Ma of Great Thunderclap Monastery. After my passing, lead all the monks here back to Great Thunderclap Monastery. Rulai Ma will accept you all. He took out a Kasaya and a scripture. Placing the scripture upon the Kasaya, he handed them to the devil ape. The Kakara then descended, pressing gently upon the scripture. Tell Rulai Ma this. If Dharma teaches that all lives are equal, then why are demon sculptures in temples always depicted as mounts of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? Are we demons not equal? Little Rulai's soul and spirit began to fracture, drifting away like fading mist. Then ask him, if the demon race is equal, why is Dharma written only by humans? Can demons not compose Dharma as well? Then ask him again, saving humans is deemed merit and virtue, should not saving demons also be merit and virtue? Ask him, if consuming humans is taking a life, then is consuming demons not also taking a life? Plants and trees may all cultivate into demons. Does eating them not count as taking life as well? If he cannot answer, then present him with this scripture I have written. This demon Rulai's Dharma, he will then accept all of you. Little Rulai brought his palms together, smiling peacefully. After I pass, bring this mortal body of mine to Great Thunderclap Monastery. Ask Rulai Ma whether I may also enter the 10,000 Buddhas pagoda. As his final words faded, his soul scattered into nothingness. Demon Master! The devil ape prostrated himself upon the ground, while the monks chanted the great compassion mantra in unison. Little Rulai founded Little Thunderclap Monastery with his own strength, making it the only sacred ground within the great ruins. It is also the only sacred ground of the demon race. Shu Shengwa said softly. Though Dharma once excluded demons, he gave them their own path. Is his state of mind not that of a true Rulai? Yanzi, I wish to see the Buddha of humans and the Buddha of demons. I will accompany you to Great Thunderclap Monastery. Since the big fellow will lead these demon monks across the great ruins, danger will surely follow. We can protect them along the way, Jing Yan replied. There are numerous experts within Little Thunderclap Monastery. Crossing the great ruins should not be too perilous for them. The one truly in danger is likely Cult Master Qin. He stole Xing'an's chest and even brought Grandmaster along. This Cult Master Qin. Veins bulged upon Shu Shengwa's forehead, while Jing Yan merely smiled. You envy him, do you not? Envy that his life is filled with such excitement? Shu Shengwa nodded. Yet I am not like him. Though I envy such a life, I do not wish to walk that path. Still, I hope he survives this ordeal. A massive chest glowed faintly as it descended, while countless tiny lights flickered along the cliff face. Though darkness enveloped all, this place alone still shimmered with light. causing Chin-Mu to click his tongue in wonder. The chest halted midway down the cliff, stopping where the light gathered. Chin-Mu examined it closely, astonishment rising upon his face. The light did not come from any creature or treasure. What shone from within the cracks of the cliff was sunlight. Chin-Mu leaned toward the fissure, peering inside. There he saw lush green plains, a clear azure sky, and a blazing sun hanging high above. Pan Gong So peered into another crack, equally stunned. The dragon Qilin craned his neck to look as well, his voice filled with confusion. Is there another world hidden within this shattered cliff? It is not hidden within. It is that these cracks connect to another world. Chin-Mu shifted his position, trying to glimpse more, but could not. I already suspected this place was extraordinary, with 5 worlds overlapping. Shh! Suddenly, 2 incomparably thick beams of light swept down from the top of the cliff, humming as they passed by. They did not notice the group clinging to the cliff face. Xing'an's eyes! Chin-Mu exhaled in relief as the beams of light suddenly split apart 100 miles away, scanning the cliff meticulously, inch by inch. Chin-Mu's expression stiffened. Xing'an dug out his own eyes, and now they roamed the skies, searching for us. A chill crept down his spine, his scalp prickling at the sheer horror of such an act. Cult Master Qin, there's a massive crack here! Pan Gong So called out. Chin-Mu immediately directed the chest toward the location, and together they slipped into the cavernous fissure.